Boston has entered the chat. You hear us knocking? Let us in then. Travis Thomas here with George Balekji. The two of us together as big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. GB, how you doing, my man?
Kendrick, we don't want any beef. You hear that. You won. Just know that. You won. He made that reference.
I'm sorry, Kendrick.
It was a good song. I liked it because it's J. Cole. I am with J. Cole. You're good. I don't want any of this. I love you, Kendrick. You're great.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Kendrick.
Yeah.
We want no smoke with you.
See how I got triggered on that?
I know. I'm sorry. And you know what? You're right. That was a disclaimer. It was a nice disclaimer there. As you could see, here on Boston has entered the chat. We talk all things Boston sports and all things pop culture as well. And you are our co-host. So hit us up, 617-790-0928. You can also send us your tweets. Bring it on. Coming up in this fine program, the big stories we're talking about, of course, we'll get you ready for the Bruins' epic Game 6 at TD Garden. Mm-hmm. Plus, we'll look ahead to the Celtics' potential matchup against either the Pacers or the Knicks. We'll break them both down. And we're talking the NFL around the league. On the last Boston's Entered the Chat, we broke down the Patriots better than any other show on planet Earth. So on this one, we'll break down the entire league.
And we got our boy Chris Price joining us as well.
Ooh,
it's
like
over on
that.
Foxborough
All right,
Rush.
now, look, how about this? We always start this program with getting something off of our chest. So I want to do this. Let's start with the Celtics. Kudos to them. I understand there were no style points. They never make it easy. They drive you crazy. It's what they do. We've come to accept that and to expect it, quite frankly. But I want to go on the other side of the coin here. Tip of the cap to the Celtics for getting the Cavs done quick, fast, and in a hurry. They didn't mess around and waste time. If you look around the league, all these other series, deep waters. Celtics, not a problem. Nunca, get them out of here. Finito. That's the right thing to do because now your stars get the rest, and then we know who needs rest more than anyone. That's Kristaps Porzingis. So kudos to the Celtics for making their third straight, good Lord, Eastern Conference Finals. Kudos to them for that. And also, before we move on, George, exciting times around here for the hockey teams, men's and women's. Bruins, which we'll get to, deep playoff run, trying to stay alive. Women in the finals. I mean, come on, baby. We got it all cooking here in Boston, George.
I'll say that rest is just, oh, my God, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not.
Oh, you fought it off. Get off me, sneeze.
I was waiting. I'm like, is this my debut of sneezing on the chat? I would say that rest is just as important for old man Al Horford, who was the second best player on the floor for them last. But I agree with that one, KP. Look, it's exciting times because we saw a fight in the Bruins.
Right.
We saw PWHL Boston win in overtime in every game in their series to get to the finals of that postseason. So I'm loving it, man.
Yeah.
We're counting down to the NFL season kicking off. The schedules came out. You know when teams are going to be playing on Sundays. A lot of those 1 p.m. kickoffs for the Patriots. Welcome to 2024, Robert Kraft. But anyhow, we don't have to look too far to the NFL season because Bruins, PWHL Boston, and of course the Celtics doing a lot of heavy lifting.
You just couldn't help but to take a shot there, huh?
Just saying, man.
You just can't help yourself. As we always say, hit us up, 617-790-0928, and tweet us as well. And it's always great when we get messages from you. Keep them coming in. How about this? John in Scituate weighed in on our hotline bling.
My guy.
Let's get to him. Let's see what John is talking about. Take a listen.
How you doing, fellas? Calling in. I got a prediction. I think if I were a betting man, and I'm going to bring you back to 2008 against the Montreal Canadiens, Game 6 in Boston. Bruins forced a Game 7. We ended up losing that series, but it was a moral victory in the grand scheme. That team arrived in 2008. They won the Cup in 2011. I got the Bruins forcing a Game 7 Friday night at the Garden. We're taking Game 6. We'll see what happens in Game 7. This is John in Scituate. That's all I got. Over and out.
John in Scituate.
Let's go.
That sounds like a sharp dude.
Yeah, shout-outs to John in Scituate.
Because you know what? He recalled the past of the Bruins.
He did.
2008 when the Bruins won Game 5 and 6 to force a Game 7.
That's right.
Won that Game 6 at home 5-4. I remember Phil Kessel had 2 goals. But you know what he said? And I think This is where you and John from Scituate, I think you guys would be best friends. He said we win Game 6. Let's see what happens in Game 7.
Yeah.
He's not saying we're coming back from 3-1.
Right. That's right.
He's talking about moral victories.
Yeah, John.
And even a great recall by him because that was a team. No Patrice Bergeron that year due to concussions. But Zdeno Chara, David Krejci, guys that laid down the foundation of the culture for the Bees were key in that series and on that team that year. And then, 3 years later, breakthrough, win the Cup in 2011. So, John from Scituate, I love that call, man.
You know, I think you're right about John and I. John, shout outs to you, man. I mean, that was an inflection point for the franchise back in 2008. And you know what, John and Scituate? You and I could be besties. George is right. And so can you. That's why you need to hit us up, 617-790-0928. Call us. Leave messages. Leave questions. Leave comments. Leave concerns. Leave whatever you want. We just want to hear from you and tweets as well. We'll get to those in a second.
John from Scituate sounds like a guy that would delete many, many Bud Lights watching the Bees. And I would love to do that with him.
Me too.
Some Michelob Ultras, too.
Although, lately.
Athlete's beer.
George, I got to tell you. I've been real bougie lately. I've been drinking a lot of white and red wine. Yes, nothing like an evening of hockey, playoff hockey and playoff basketball with some red. This is how I swear on my glass. Some red wine or some white wine.
You're like a walking anomaly. Drinking wine, watching hockey. And you and me are tight, but like a brother watching hockey, drinking wine.
A brother watching hockey, drinking wine.
But you know what, man?
Yeah.
And this is what you are, T. You embrace the city you're in.
Huh?
And you came from D.C. You love the Caps. You still talk about them, so I love that.
Yeah.
Wine. What's your pour? What's your pour? Cab.
Oh, I drink all of it. All of it.
I don't even know if what's your pour is the right.
I don't think it is. I'm a full-blown wino. Let's just cut to the chase here. It doesn't matter what it is.
But what kind?
All of it. What aren't you getting?
So you and LeBron would be boys.
Yes.
Because if you go to a hockey game, you bring in your own wine bottle of wine.
Cabernets, Pinot, Shiraz, Chardonnays, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc.
I'm a big Cabernet Sauvignon guy.
Look at you.
But if you have a good dessert, because the Malbec's a little heavier, then I'll go Malbec.
See, y'all see how he's trying to clown me? Oh, Travis, with your wine, what's your pour? And then this fool's dropping wine knowledge like he went to wine college.
I like that. When I'm watching hockey, I'm not going out of my way for wine. Hockey is Michelob Ultra.
Fair.
Corona this time of year.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Bud heavy.
I'll say this about us. #growth. You know why? He's drinking beers during game. I'm on the wine during the game. Both of us have graduated from that straight liquor.
If I have tequila now, you know how much I regret it the next day?
Oh, I want to die.
And I need to figure it out because is it the sugar if I put it with lemonade?
I don't know.
Is it just straight that much tequila my body rejects it? But like I pay the price the next day.
Yeah, I do too.
But if I do beer or wine, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah, same. I used to do Crown Royal on the rocks.
You and I both, like our minds went the same way. I knew exactly what you're going to say.
Lord have mercy.
This is what it's called? Growth.
It's growth.
I feel like we're an Insecure with Issa Rae. It's growth.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I'm still cool, but I'm bougie. Now I'm bougie, and I own it. All right, let's get to the tweets. Hopefully the fans aren't as bougie as we are. Let's get to it because we always say we want to hear from you. Hit us on, of course. Boston has entered the chat hotline, 617-790-0928. But also send us these because we love them, baby. Look at this. How about let's force Game 7. Go Bruins.
Are you a walrus?
Was that what was that?
You sound like a walrus getting beaten over the head with a bat.
I was trying to get a bear there.
I'm not going to try bear sound, but that's exactly how the Bees are feeling coming back home Game 6.
Would you say a horse?
No, you sound like a walrus getting hit over the head with a Louisville Slugger.
Damn.
Gasping for its last breath.
Poor walrus. Eddie Ray tweets us, Bruins.
This is your boy.
One win at a time, baby. Let's go, boys.
He's not saying win the series. He's saying win one more game.
Everything's
in on Game 7.
I don't give a damn about nothing but Game 6. Go Bees, go.
Eddie Ray's your boy. Between John and Scituate and Eddie Ray. Oh, look at this one from Hefe. I don't need you to win this chip, guys. Just win this series and get swept next round.
Oh.
I don't care. Just send Florida home so they can enjoy Cancun with Max Strus.
Okay.
Love that.
Jeff, relax here.
You know what Jeff is saying, though? Again, like what John said, it would be a moral playoff victory. This team is overperforming. They overperformed this entire regular season. They overperformed to get to the second round.
Yeah.
If they come back from down 3-1, again, overperforming, over-delivering, and catching experience for the Mason Larais, right?
Sure.
The young guys on this team. The dudes that have been those leaders. Charlie McAvoy, if he could grow up in front of our eyes, because that's the next one, wear that C on his chest.
Yes.
Jeff, a.k.a. Hefe, I'm giving you a new name, bro. Love this one.
I don't
But
love
I want
it.
him to win a chip.
I mean, right. That's where I'm at. There's a disconnect. Beat the hell out of the Panthers, but let's keep it going, shall we? And then you got your quintessential Rock flexing on them. Let's go!
So coming out of that, let me tell you this. The Bruins are, and I'm big on I don't care about any of this because this is, yeah. I didn't know Dwayne The Rock Johnson was right next to me.
Yeah, you're damn
He
right. You
just
see
like
the ball,
him, just as yoked.
tall.
Yeah.
I just skipped leg day. That's the only difference. I
He
got
spends too much time there.
I got
Shows up
chicken
late
legs.
to everything
I
now,
got chicken
apparently.
legs, man.
Bruins, 0-25 all time, down 3-1. Doesn't matter. Because you know what? This was this team the one that was down 25 times. They forced a game 6 8 times. Forced a game 7 just twice, but never come back all the way down from 3-1. But this could be the third team to force a game 7 after being down 3-1.
I think the takeaway here, folks, it's very simple. Hit us up, please. Call us. Make that hotline bling. 617-790-0928. If you can't call and show love, send us some tweets. We show them. We read them. I mean, this show is interactive. It's all about us. We're all in the chat together.
And do that. I like you just said it. At Nesson.
Yes.
You can add us if you want. Don't worry about spelling my last name right. I don't care. But do at Nesson, tweet at us, and add a little hashtag the chat. We're on Boston's Enter the chat. Just add the chat to it. That's all I want. I'm not going to challenge anyone to spell my last name.
I could do it. B-A-L.
What?
B-A-L.
Bill.
B-A-L-E-K-J-I.
Cheated.
I didn't cheat at all.
You cheated and you barely got it.
All right,
Bill.
I know. I still misspelled it. All right, let's get to the keys of the game, shall we?
Let's do it, bro.
First, I think we have to at least mention Brad Marchand could play in this game.
Yeah.
Boy, that changes the complexity. I think even though we're not going to include it officially in our keys, it's got to be something we all got to be thinking about, because what a boost getting him back in this lineup if you can get it.
Can you imagine the confidence they
Right.
get? A heady player, an experienced
Right.
guy. The special teams boost you get with him on the penalty kill and power play.
Yes.
If Marchand drops back into the fold, combine that with all your lines click back and the chemistry's back there. If they get Marchand back, you mentioned it, the confidence, the mental
Absolutely.
boost, but the huge boost on the ice as well.
Okay, so here's one of my keys. You got to jump out to an early lead here and keep this crowd raucous, because we're all sick and tired of being sick and tired of losing playoff games at TD Garden,
Yep.
right? If you can jump out early, the same way as if you're on the road, and you could jump out early and silence their crowd, even if it's just momentarily, it can create momentum for your team. It can create inertia. So what I want to see in TD Garden, keep those fans hype and drunk as hell. Jump out early. Get first blood. I think that's how you do it. Build some confidence. Push this thing to Game 7, baby.
And to me, what's big is jump out early, draw first blood, get those shots going.
Yeah.
Because 28 shots in Game 5 compared to 18 in Game 4, huge difference there.
Sure.
So I want to see this team get out in front, obviously put the pressure on, especially on Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yes.
Make him uncomfortable early and make him beat you, because you know what you get from Jeremy Swayman. But then combine that as well. To me, it has to be the leader on this, whether you get Marchand back or not. Charlie McAvoy played his best game of this postseason, last postseason, in Game 5 to force this Game 6. You need the same thing from Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, I would agree.
Showing up, actually putting his shots on the score sheet, playing 33 shifts, ton of time on ice, an assist and a goal, but just played tough, played smart, and was very aggressive. So I think Charlie McAvoy is one of my big keys.
I'm going to go just defense in general. Just play lights out. Look, I am so impressed. I almost want a better word than impressed. I'm enamored by what Jeremy Swayman has done this entire postseason. I am. This is not the game that I want to see him get a ton of shots on him and play hero. Even though we've seen it, I don't need that this game. I want this defense to play such lockdown. They did a great job in Game 5. Let's give them credit. I want this defense to be so locked down that Jeremy Swayman doesn't even get a ton of quality looks in Game 6. He doesn't get a ton of quality shots on him. Make it an easier night for the guy. Let's have the story after this game be the defense out-hit, like we saw in Game 5, out-hit, shut down this Panthers offense. Jeremy Swayman doesn't need a ton of saves in this game. We know he's good for it, but I would love to see a game where we're not so reliant on him because the defense cut the water off for the Panthers. That's what I'm looking for. That's one of my keys. Play shutdown, knockdown, drag out, slobber knocker defense.
What's also huge for this team, they're at home Game 6, but make it count. 10 home playoff games the last 2 postseasons. Through 3 series, they've only won 3 of them. 3-7 at home the last 2 postseasons.
Yep.
You have Game 6 at home. The Panthers last year had Game 6 at home.
Yeah.
Forced it on your ice, 4-7, and they came back.
Yep.
But you're going to have a desperate Panthers team coming your way. Because as desperate as the Bruins are to keep their season alive, Florida does not want this to go 7.
That's right.
Because all bets are off. But use the home ice to your advantage. As we saw it in Game 7 against Toronto, you know how to play pucks off the board. You obviously have your crowd behind you. That's huge.
Right.
But make it matter. Because that's what's huge. You push this to 7, all the pressure's on Florida. The favorites in the series, too, by the way. Don't forget that. No one expected the Bruins to be in this spot, to have the Panthers on their backs, right? Got to make it work. You're at home. We haven't seen in the last 2 postseasons. That's all I went back to.
Sure.
I didn't want to keep going back because I didn't want to know how ugly that number could get. But 3 wins your last 10 postseason games at home in TD Garden.
I mean,
just make it 4 out of your last 11.
Yeah, that's a big one to get that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, reverse jinx on them. They came back 3-1. You come back 3-1 on them. Put all the pressure on them. I'm with you on that. Okay. Jorge, do you remember when I called out Pasta in Game 6 against the Maple Leafs?
Good call.
And I said, this is a legacy game. You're one of the all-time greats. You need moments like this where you own the moment. This is Boston. We're only going to judge you by how many championships and how many moments that you give us, right? Well, he didn't do it in Game 6. But Jim Montgomery agreed with me and called him out. Boom, we got it in Game 7. Remember?
Yeah, yes.
Overtime, walk-off, see you later, Leafs. We're marching on. Pasta, it's your time again, brother. We need you. This is one of those moments. Just like Game 7, overtime, heartbreak city for the other team. We were celebrating. We need you in Game 6 at home. Same thing. We need a moment from you. This is time. This is it. This is legacy stuff. Give us a moment. I don't care what it is. Could be another game winner. Could be a hat. Could be a hat trick. I'll take a hattie. Whatever it is, Pasta. Summons it. Deliver it. We need it. This is your time. Pasta at home.
And this is a guy that skated great in Game 1.
Yeah, he did.
But has fallen off since then.
Why not do it here?
Legacy
in this
moments,
spot at home.
Push it to 7. The fans here in Boston know that this team is overachieving right now to be in this spot. 3-1 after that awful no overturn on the goalie interference. Everyone, I thought they were dead. Sorry,
Yeah.
Panthers in 5. I said Panthers in 5 before
Yeah,
the series started.
you did.
The fact that it's going 6 is beyond me.
Well,
Pasta shows up in 6, pushes it to 7.
right.
That could be huge.
I said Panthers in 6, and I don't want to be right.
What was Game 6 last year? Was like 7-5 the final.
I don't know.
It was a high-scoring affair.
To be honest,
Pasta
all I
2 goals,
remember,
but it was a loss
I
by the
just
Bees.
remember whatever.
Let me double check.
Yeah, please bring up the games because whatever game the Panthers took the Bees to overtime. I can't remember if that was a closeout game. The first one they took them to overtime. I thought that was a turning point
Game
because they got
6,
punched right in the mouth.
7-5. Panthers won.
So what was game?
David Pastrnak 2 goals.
What was game 5? You got that in front of you?
We're really gonna do
Was
this
that
to
the
Bruins
overtime?
fans.
I just want to.
No. Yes, you're right. 4-3 OT.
Okay, it was that game.
And then Game 7 was 4-3 OT.
No, it was game 5.
Yeah.
Is when I got nervous. When it was like, okay, close out, finish these boys off. Went to overtime. You felt like this was a moment. Bruins going to put them away. And in that game, they were physical. The Panthers were more physical. They just, you know what they were? They were zombies. They refused to die. They did. and they won that game. That's when I started getting nervous, and we know the rest. So this needs to be a Pasta moment here. At home, Game 6, you got a chance to do the reverse to the Panthers. Come on, Pasta, we need you, baby. Legacy game.
It is. For him, I mean, for this team in general, it's huge. And the biggest thing, I'm a broken record, but we go through what's essential for the Bruins to force a Game 7.
Yes.
Not once did we have to bring up Jeremy Swayman because you know what you're going to get with him.
That's right.
I mean, you touched on Sway, of course.
I said I wanted him to have an easier night.
Yeah. But even being peppered by shots, like pulling through with 38 saves on certain nights, which he's done, right? This guy can do it time and time again.
Yeah.
You know what you get with Sway? It's the guys in front of him, the 5 skaters in front of him that need to pull through.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's where I'm going with that. All right, some nuggets to think about here. Listen to all this, George. 32 NHL teams have won a series after trailing 3-1 in a 7-game series. The Bruins are 0-25.
Yep.
All time.
Yep.
Is that good? When down 3-1 in 7-game series. Bruins have forced a Game 6 8 times. Bruins have forced a Game 7 2 times. You remember Carolina Hurricanes, sore subject, and the Montreal Canadiens. So that was in 2008 and 2009, respectively. There you go. Food for thought. You do the dishes. So there are your Bruins nuggets to think about going into Game 6 here.
2008 against Montreal, as John from Scituate said.
Shout out to
Learn
our guy.
something.
Shout outs to our guy.
I say, too, like the 0 for 25 all time.
Yeah.
To me, it's more the recency of the team that worries me, right?
Sure.
And also, I mean, we've watched this team all year. We know what they are. Weak down the middle, not a deep blue line, but great goaltending. Have a great player in Pastrnak. He needs to show up. Have a great player in Charlie McAvoy. He needs to show up. The Hampus Lindholms. If those guys show up, then that's what spells success for this team. And the 0 for 25 doesn't matter. And whatever. Every curse, every bad run, every streak has to come to an end at some point. You got to get that one eventually. But it starts with getting one in Game 6.
You kind of sound like Kevin Millar right now.
Like how I did that.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. Don't let us win one.
Huh?
Kevin Millar or Jimmy Butler? Yes, it is Kevin Millar.
Don't know. Jimmy Butler is finished. All right. No, his name's done. He's in Cancun. All right. Look, in fact, I guess let's pivot to the Celtics here. It's a beautiful transition. I want to play a game of Make Your Case. George, I'm going to give you a reason, or you give me a reason, and make a case as to why the Celtics will want to face one of the following teams next. We understand it's only 2 to choose from, Pacers and Knicks. I would say the Celtics would want to face the Pacers because of the obvious. Number one, above everything else, the Pacers don't play defense. I mean, that helps. So I would want to play a team that doesn't play defense. They play the same style as the Celtics. They want to just run up and down and play pickup basketball and chuck threes. Great. No one does that better than the Celtics. Check, check, check. Inexperience from a young Pacers team. Now, they're hungry. They're flashy. They're exciting. I give them props. Bow down. But they are inexperienced. Check for the Celtics. I would love to play an inexperienced, no defense team that plays the exact same style as me, except that I play it better. Oh, sign me up for the Pacers all day long.
I'm surprised we're head-to-head on this one.
What?
Knicks.
No, you got to make the case of why you want the Celtics to play both.
You covered it. I mean, they can't defend. Worst D rating out of remaining teams.
Okay.
And that's why you want to play them. They can't get stops.
All right.
Right?
I
know,
know
I'm breaking
Knicks.
the rules.
I know you want to go to the Knicks. Go ahead.
I'm breaking rules here, but I mean, what you get with the Pacers too, why you'd want to play them, they don't have Jalen Brunson. And that's a guy alone that can steal 2 games.
Fair.
Donovan Mitchell stole a game. And with the Pacers too, where we saw why the Cavs won 1 game in that series. And it was their shooting getting hot.
Yeah.
Celtics cooling off, and that was game 2.
Right.
The Pacers have the ammunition to steal 2 games.
To stay hot.
Just straight up on shooting alone.
Sure,
Exactly.
that's fair.
To come out, they're hitting 45, 46% from 3, led by a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, who can fill it up. And Miles Turner's a tough matchup in the paint.
Siakam.
A big man that can shoot the 3. Siakam, again, defensively, as a guy that can go out and guard your wings. Matchup size and strength-wise, yeah.
Okay.
Pacers are tough. But you know why they want the Knicks?
Yeah, thanks for entertaining me. Go ahead to the Knicks. I already know you were dying to do this.
This is a team that is like 5 deep.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Miles McBride.
Oh, God.
Okay, so when we go away from the bench, who do you got? Precious Achua, who Tibbs doesn't trust night in and night out, but he needs him because Mitchell Robinson's done.
Right.
You have Alec Burks going from playing 10 minutes a night to taking 11 shots or more his last 2 games. That's how depleted this Knicks team is.
Gross.
And as bad as that Pacers defense is, right?
Yeah.
Worst defense out of the remaining playoff teams.
Yes.
If you go by a defensive rating, you know who's the second worst defense remaining?
Come on.
The New York Knicks.
Not Tibbs.
The New York Knicks. Tibbs is running this team into the ground. You have the size. If you're a Celtics fan, you fear the Garden. You fear Jalen Brunson. But you want the Knicks. And I never thought I would say that. But they're so banged up and they're so depleted. And they don't have the depth where we see what the separation is with the Celtics team. It was tight. Game 5. Fourth quarter against the Cavaliers, and then Drew Holiday shone through. Jason Tatum shines through. Bad night for Jaylen Brown. You got Al Horford. Bad night for Jaylen Brown. Derek White in the first half keeps him afloat. This Celtics team is so deep, and the Knicks just don't have the guys. Literally don't have the bodies.
Now I know why you wanted to quickly get to the Knicks and just brush over the Pacers. Now I get it.
I just think the Knicks are the more appetizing matchup for the Celtics.
I know what it is.
Oh, what is
I
this?
figured it out. I cracked the case like True Detective.
Jalen Brunson's from New Jersey?
You, sir, were outside of TD Garden the other night. When the Celtics finished the Cavs, you were right in the crowd saying, bleep New York! Bleep New York! I understand what's going on here.
You know I would never do that. I love Boston. I love where I live. I would never do that. I'm from Jersey, and what am I going to say other than our culture bleeds off of this city? So,
well, I will say
I
this.
can't say F New York.
Who knows what the performance on the court will look like? Because I do believe it's going to be Knicks Celtics for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Same.
And I'm predicating this on, I believe the Pacers will win Game 6 at home, but I think they sort of empty the tank to do it. And because of that, good luck going to Madison Square Garden in a Game 7 with those bright-ass lights and that big stage and beating Jalen Brunson, who will drop and get you 50 if he has to by any means necessary. So I like the Knicks to win in 7 games. Advantage Celtics, more rest, right? But I will say this. I don't know what the style of play is going to be. I don't know how long that series is going to be. I agree with you. The Knicks are a walking mash unit, for God's sakes. But this series, if it happens, Knicks, Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals, will be an all-timer, a GOAT, if you will, for trash talk. One of the greatest series of trash talk ever. Boston, New York.
I like that.
All the fan bases. Oh, my God. Just the cuss words, the profanities, everything going on between the two trash talk cities is going to be beautiful.
You know what I would say, too, is that, as I said, that the Pacers can go out and steal 2 games. Jalen Brunson can steal a series, man. And that is the worry with the one thing I'll give this Knicks team. For as depleted as they are, and as much as I'm just poo-pooing all over Alec Burks and Miles McBride.
Yes, you are.
The difference you see between the Knicks and the Celtics is in losses. The Knicks will play their asses off until the end.
That's right.
And the Celtics haven't dealt with that yet.
That's right.
As they're beating the brakes off teams. I mean, average margin of victory of 18.5 in this postseason. Again, this was a team with the 3rd best net rating in NBA history in the regular season. But if these games are tight late, and the Knicks keep pressing and pressing and pressing and put the pressure on Jason Tatum and a Jaylen Brown, it could be one of those where the Celtics lose games and not just the Knicks going out and winning them. And I'm saying lose late. And Jalen Brunson leads by example. Josh Hart doesn't want to leave the floor. So as bad and banged up as this Knicks team is, I mean, they got the dogs. Like, they got more guys on that side of the floor. They're just absolute dogs out there on the floor. Because you're not going to get 22 points from Al Horford every night. We've seen him up and down, up and down. And at his age, we get it, right? And it is on those off nights of the key guys for the Celtics where the Knicks just bring it every damn night. Yeah. I mean, Jalen Brunson's averaging 34 points per game in this postseason. 2 games against the Pacers so far, 40+. Like, he will go in, leave his heart out there on the floor, and the rest of the guys do, and just do the Celtics. Can they do that? They haven't been tested this postseason. Their 2 losses, they go, all right, it's their night, not ours. White flag, we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously the Villanova jokes write themselves. But
I don't even care about
I've always
that.
said, like, the Knicks do play with that sort of college basketball team spirit and sense of urgency. Like, they're in March Madness. They have no losses to give up. They fight you tooth and nail, to George's point, for sure. All right, I want to call an audible here and talk Patriots. But before we do that, an NFL schedule. But before we do that, George, on Foxborough Rush here on the network, we talk a little ball. Let the people know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Always check out Foxborough Rush, dropping 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right wherever you get your podcast. Nesson.com, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Like, subscribe, and follow. This Friday's episode of Foxborough Rush, we have Chris Price of the Boston Globe joining us. He did an amazing job on a piece that took him 8 months to put together on Calvin Anderson's near-death battle with malaria. He suffered it just 3 days before the start of training camp, ended up coming back and starting the first 2 weeks for the Patriots before having to go on the IR for the season. And this guy was battling for his life, dealt with a heart contusion as well, but it goes so in-depth on Calvin Anderson's journey to the Patriots, his journey with his wife who saved his life. Check it out. Chris Price joins us on Foxborough Rush. And also, we talk about him being down at Gillette since rookie training camp kicked off, what the difference is like with Gerard Mayo leading the way. And as well, he gives us his opinion on when Drake May should start for the Pats.
Right.
Trav doesn't love it.
No.
I kind of like it. I like later in the season. But check out the latest episode of Foxborough Rush to find out all that and more from Chris Price.
Yeah, I mean, even on the last, Boston has entered the chat. George and I argued, fussed, cussed, and fought about the Patriots' schedule, when or when not to play Drake May. So I feel like we owe it to the rest of the league now to break down some of these games. And I'll tell you right now, I'll start in week 1 with a couple of different matchups. I'm looking at the schedule here. I mean, the season opener for everybody, Ravens at Chiefs, is must-see TV.
Yes.
I mean, look, I'm tired of waiting for the Ravens in the playoffs to show up. But one thing's for certain, they show up in the regular season. I imagine Lamar Jackson and the Ravens will be ready to go in Arrowhead to open the season for everyone. I could see the Ravens maybe stealing that, and we say, oh, what's wrong with the Chiefs? Absolutely nothing, okay? Because when we get to the playoffs, we know what it is for both teams on different sides of the coin. And then I'll stay in week 1 the next day, San Paulo, Packers and Eagles, one of those international games. That's a kick-ass game.
That's on a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Just
that's
brilliant job by
It's a
the
brilliant
NFL.
job, and that's a really good game too. Two teams very similar.
Oh,
Packers
I can't wait.
Packers trying to be consistent, prove that they belong, and it wasn't a fluke last season. Eagles trying to get back on track, decimated with injuries, didn't really play well last season at all at any point. Then I jumped all the way to the end of the world here, George. Harbaugh Bowl, Thanksgiving week. Again, the Ravens here. In L.A. taking on the Chargers. Can't wait to see the Harbaugh Bowl there. Jim, this thought process of Jim Harbaugh is not going to have success with the Chargers is asinine to me. This guy is proven over and over and over and over and over again in college football and the NFL. Wherever he goes, he wins immediately.
Yeah.
So I think the Chargers will be in good shape this season, no problem. And then just the Thanksgiving games in general and the Christmas games, which we'll run through here, those all jumped out to me. What say you?
I looked at one team schedule, and it got me so excited.
Who?
The Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love.
Okay.
Because that guy, the last 8 weeks of last season, was 18 touchdowns to 1 interception. I mean, that team took off from the ups and downs with Jordan Love, his first full year as a starting quarterback, and his young receivers, his young tight ends, right? Last 8 weeks of the season, fought their way into the postseason. Ran the Cowboys off the field their last game.
Yep.
Look at the schedule. Friday night in Brazil against the Eagles, Jordan Love against Jalen Hurts. Minnesota Vikings, another good offense, J.J. McCarthy against Love. But it's this stretch for me. October 20th against the Texans in Green Bay, C.J. Stroud. Detroit Lions, November 3rd. Chicago Bears on the 17th, Caleb Williams. San Francisco 49ers to close out November. The Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Then the Lions, again, the following Thursday, December 5th. That stretch. And I'm just so high on Jordan Love, what he's going to be, what these good receivers are.
Yep.
But the quarterback play is what they got. Lions, Packers. Dolphins, Packers. San Francisco, Packers. Bears, Packers. Bye week, Lions, Packers.
Yeah.
There's going to be such high-octane offenses on the field. I just love that stretch for the Packers schedule. This is a team I'm going to watch up close. You know me. I love them.
Yep.
I love watching them play. I like Jordan Love's game a lot. I like Matt LaFleur as a play caller. But the NFL just crushed it with how the Green Bay Packers schedule falls together. Compared to when you're watching Patriots games, you're like, oh, all right, we're watching Jacoby Brissett.
Sure.
If you're locked in on the Packers this season, you're going to have a hell of a football season. You're going to love it.
Maybe it is a pack attack for your answer here, but I love all these Thanksgiving games. I want you to tell me which one of these intrigues you the most. You do have the Packers for the night game, Dolphins at Packers. So you get Tua in Lambeau. The early first game of the day there when everyone's eating their turkey, and we used to watch the Lions get the hell beat out of them on Thanksgiving. Now Lions are good. They host the Bears. So you get Caleb Williams and the Lions there, and then Giants at Cowboys. And then Dolphins at Packers, like I said, for the nightcap. Which one of those games intrigues you the most? Because I'm actually probably going to shock you here and go Bears at Lions.
I'm going that too, actually.
You are? Okay.
So I'm going Bears at Lions. That offense is going to be great.
Yep.
Caleb Williams in a dome.
Yep.
That's just such a good game to start my day. And what I love is we get the worst game right in the middle, Giants at Cowboys.
Right.
Because the Giants are going to suck. I don't care to watch that game. I have to do my part whenever I'm home for Thanksgiving. You know, it's all about finding that window. When am I going to help my mom and my
Talk to
sisters?
people.
When am I going to clean? Because I go in the kitchen, I do something, they yell at me, I get out.
Yeah.
Why are you sitting on the couch? Okay, fine. I'll go back in the kitchen, get yelled at. It's the weirdest thing.
That is weird.
And then after we eat, when there's no TV allowed because my sister just likes to yell at me for no reason, Dolphins at Packers comes on. But you know what? It's going to be Dolphins at Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah.
The end of November. Dude, it could be a snowstorm.
Could be.
Tua is going to crumble like a stack of cards in that weather. So that's why I think Bears at Lions is going to be the best game.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Two great offenses in a dome. I can't wait.
We couldn't have different Thanksgiving days. I mean, I don't go anywhere near the kitchen or anywhere near anyone.
I'm just going to hang out by you on
If
Thanksgiving.
any family wants to talk to me, come sit, on the couch with me, wait till the commercials and talk to me. That's what it is. I am locked in. And then I half the time don't even remember the night game because I've been drinking all day. All right, Christmas games. These are on Netflix, by the way. Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans. Both of those are good. I think with the Steelers schedule, which is brutal, this will be Mike Tomlin's first losing season, I bet you. So I'll go Ravens at Texans. That's an intriguing matchup to see C.J. Stroud at home against the Ravens, who dominate the regular season. It's a good litmus test, I think, for the Texans. Remember, Stephon Diggs there now for them.
I love that. I think that Chiefs at Steelers matchup, it's like a snooze fest.
Yeah.
So I definitely go Ravens at Texans. You know what jumped out at me?
What?
And there's conspiracy theories floating around. Taylor Swift can make up to 14 Kansas City Chiefs games.
Oh, come on.
There are 3 games that conflict with her tours, or Era tour.
Wow.
Yeah, Era's tour. Sorry, guys. No, I'm not crapping
You're
on
not
Taylor.
a Swiftie.
I'm not. But
now you and I have bad blood.
But if she attends 14 games, well done. Nice note you hit.
I'm a
The only
Swiftie.
one she'll miss, Chargers at Chiefs, because she's in Vancouver that night. Chiefs at Raiders. She's in New Orleans that night. Like October 27th, the Chiefs playing. She has a concert. Then she's in Miami on October 20th. The Chiefs are at the 49ers. But the other 14 games of the season, Taylor Swift, she can make it.
Sure.
And this is huge for the NFL because it is a business at the end of the day, my friend. Mm-hmm. And you know how I learned all this, the layout of her Eras tour? Is because, holy
bleep.
You Swifties, credit to you guys.
Yep.
The research you do, everything you put in, because you go on TikTok and you have 20 different people breaking down, all right, guys, here's the Chiefs schedule. Here's where they're playing. Here's where Taylor is. Yes, she has a concert the night before, but she can make it that day. I am just so impressed. Like, she's in Indianapolis November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Bucks at Chiefs November 4th. You bet it. She gets out of that concert on the 3rd, hops on her PJ, goes to KC, is there to cheer on her boy Travis Kelce on November 4th.
There's people
I just got to give credit to the Swifties.
There's people that follow her PJ's flight path, which is like incredible.
Oh,
to me.
when she was at Gillette last year, I staked out for her arrival. And I'm telling you, like, she landed in Warwick, Rhode Island, or wherever it was in Rhode Island, wherever that airport is.
Yeah.
And I'm looking on Twitter, and I'm seeing images. Taylor Swift's jet arrives,
Wow.
and I see the just absolute army of vehicles taking her out. It's like a Ford Expedition, Ford Explorer, and I'm looking at her unmarked cars, all black.
You know the license
what type
plate
of license
numbers?
plates? Oh yeah, dude, I know cars. Like I love cars.
This isn't creepy at all.
And then as we're waiting out, I was like, "Is this Taylor?" I was with my friend Nicole Menner. She works down in Rhode Island. Is this it? I go, no, that's not a Ford Expedition. That's a Chevy Tahoe. Then it pulls up like, "This is her. This is her." It's fun. It's actually fun. You get a rush, giving her respect of her space. By the way, too, I was like 100 feet away, but I'm like, oh, she rolls up, and just to see it. Man, good for her. I respect it.
I like the ending, how you clean that up.
No
restraining orders necessary here.
It's in a way of like, that is such a weird world to be in when you're that famous. She's one of the most popular people on earth.
She is.
So at least give her the space. But it's like a rush. You said it. People track the planes. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, And at that point, too, in the season, bro, I'm like, what am I going to go watch the 4-win Patriots team warm up inside? No, I'd rather be outside and stalk Taylor Swift.
All right, let's talk winners and losers of the week. Maybe Taylor Swift's his winner. I don't know. I'm going Jason Tatum. This guy finally got mad and stayed mad. He's mad at all the chirping that we do in the media, and he hears from the fans saying, is he really built for this? He's mad that he's not getting the superstar calls from the refs. He wants that. He's not getting that treatment. And guess what happens when he gets mad? He balls out. Stay mad, Jason Tatum, please. He's a winner this week for me.
Gets mad at the refs. I love to see that anger at his opponents, talking that trash to them. You know?
When he gets mad, he plays better.
Hey, last 3 games of this series, he turned it on. His team needed it most. Flirted with a triple-double in that closeout game. I agree with you. Tatum as a winner. My winner this week, Jared Goff.
Oh,
$212 million.
Money, baby.
$170 million guaranteed.
Guarantee.
Becomes the second highest paid quarterback based off AAV, $53.5 million, just behind Joe Burrow.
Goodness.
And I say it, when you see certain athletes get paid, now Jared Goff, respectfully, you're not worth $170 million or $212 million. But because you are a quarterback, you are. And you gamed the system. And to that's how I respect the hell out of Jared Goff. Like, good for you, man. You were gifted to be an exceptional enough athlete to make it to the NFL, but you were perfectly gifted where you're not athletic enough to be a running back or a slot receiver or a safety. No. You're a quarterback. And when you're a quarterback, you get paid because supply and demand is there. And credit to you, Jared. You got casted away by the Los Angeles Rams. You were seen as a salary dump. You get into Detroit. You tough through it that first year, but your last 2 years under Ben Johnson, 59 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, doorstep of getting into the Super Bowl in a city that is starving for success and for their football team to be good. Jared Goff's a winner. And you get paid. Just good for him, man.
I love how you gave Jared Goff that monologue, but he can't hear you because he's getting paper cuts from counting all that money that he's doing
It's
right
a
now.
gif of like holding the
He
dollars.
can't hear you. Loser, I'm going to Pat's schedule. I mean, if Jared Goff is getting paper cuts from counting money, the Patriots are bleeding out from their schedule release because the NFL clearly hates them. This is the hardest GDAM schedule I've ever seen in my life. I mean, who did you take off at the league office? I'm all for Drake May. I'm all for the rebuild. But my goodness, the league did them no favors with this schedule. They're my losers.
Funny enough, I have the Patriots as my losers too, but it's Robert Kraft more of.
Specifically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one primetime game, Robert.
Oh.
And you know why you guys got a primetime game? It's because you're in New York playing the Jets.
Oh.
Like, they're getting the primetime game. You're just lucky enough to be at that dance with them. The 9:30 a.m. kickoff in London,
Yeah.
you against the Jaguars, you're literally getting the Jacksonville Jaguars treatment. But this is the new reality of being the bottom in your division, of being the equivalent of the Carolina Panthers, of the New York Jets of the old.
Oh.
Shoot, I mean, when you bought the team, this is what it was. Welcome back to the 1990s. Patriots fans, one primetime game, and even worse, you know, if you don't get the primetime game, at least you're that 4:25 kickoff, right? You're one of 2 or 3 games on the late window on a Sunday before Sunday Night Football. Nope. The Patriots are just casted away into the dark corner. And Robert Kraft, because of your awful ownership,
It's like they're in timeout.
and mishandling of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and just fumbling away this franchise who was at the pinnacle, and you haven't won a playoff game since 2019 when you won a Super Bowl. One primetime game?
Well,
Robert Kraft's a loser in this
I'll tell you this. honorable mention, we're all winners because the NCAA college football video game returns officially July 19th, which means we're going to have you all host this show because George nor myself will be outside. I mean, both of us will be in our houses playing this video game till the cows come home. For all the best content of the day, make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Travis Thomas, George Balekji. Boston has entered the chat. We out until we enter it again next time. Peace.
Later.